All right, good afternoon, everyone. Butch Temnick here, Mr. Wellness, here to talk about Wellness Wednesday. Now, the one thing about my background is I've been involved as a health and fitness specialist for over 31 years. But to read more about my profile, please go to LinkedIn. Because the one thing that I had the opportunity was while I was living in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, where I was the wellness coordinator for the county government. But I'll go more of the details of that later. One thing I want to talk about, especially as sources talk about, is inflammation. Now, being a health and fitness specialist, I don't want to talk about weight loss, but what I want to talk about is towards what's causing our bodies to have chronic disease or so. Now, if you look at this first slide or so, you can see on here is towards, and I had the opportunity to be on YouTube one day and you talk about, divine intervention, to listen to Dr. Martindale talk about the problems that we have with inflammation. You can see from this magazine that was published back in, I do believe, the early 2000s about inflammation with the body and its connection with chronic disease as towards with Alzheimer's, cancer, as well as cardiovascular disease. This is like the new discovery of what's going on, especially in our country, because of the issues we are facing with people being overweight as well as with obesity. And the numbers are not stabilizing, they're going up. So that's what I'm going to be talking about today is how can we take back the control of inflammation in our body to reduce the risk factors associated with disease or so. And the one thing is, if we go to our next slide, please, it all starts with the gut. And that's the one thing that the doctor was talking about is towards the root causes in our gut as towards what we're doing that causes problems throughout the different systems of the body. If you look at this chart here, you can see on here, especially the one thing that it really caught my attention is the estimated 63% of the deaths globally for non-communicated in relation to inflammation disease. And the one thing is just towards what we are seeing in the healthcare industry is towards where doctors are treating the symptoms and not getting to the root cause. Primary example is I have a brother who had a triglycerides that were over 600. I worked with him over a period of 8 weeks, teaching him how to change his lifestyle. And when he went back to have blood work done again, he dropped over 400 points. Now, I was really blown away by that because I said to myself, well, if it drops at least 50 points, this will motivate him to eat healthier, live healthier, to be able to not go on medication. Well, when it dropped 400 points, his doctor was so blown away that he said to him, he goes, wow, I have patients on medication, don't even see results like this. And I told my brother to tell the doctor, and it goes us towards what is mentioned in the Bible. If you give a man a fish, he can eat for the day, but if you teach him how to fish, he'll be able to eat every day throughout the day. And that's the one thing as towards what's going on is where doctors are treating the symptoms, they're not getting to the root cause because the doctor was giving medication to them, but the individual was still eating the wrong foods, not eating healthy or living healthy or so. And the one thing which is really astonishing is towards inflammation disease accounts for 80% of U.S. healthcare costs. Think about that. Healthcare costs are rising. It's not stabilizing. And the problem is it's going to get worse before it gets better because of what direction our country is going as towards the consumption of the wrong foods. Instead of going with the whole foods, it's more processed foods, high glycemic foods. And if you look down here, it's towards majority of these type of inflammatory responses, diseases, cardiovascular disease, 48%, cancer, 21%. Chronic respiratory disease is 12%. So think about that as towards people having problems as towards breathing properly, so that that's so much inflammation in their lungs. And then you can see a diabetes at 3.5%. Now, what caught my attention as towards the information down below is towards where the doctor got this information. And we could look as towards diabetes as towards those numbers etching up higher. Because compared to what it was 5 years ago, 10, 15 years ago, where we are today, as towards younger people bringing the onset of prediabetes, leading to type 2 diabetes, I've helped so many individuals to manage their blood sugar and helping them to reduce their insulin amount they need daily, or even getting off of their insulin because they're managing it with the fork, eating low glycemic foods. So this is something as towards if you got pain in your body, that's a wake-up call right there is, hey, I've got inflammation, especially as towards with our joints. Next slide, please. So chronic inflammatory disease. just like what it says today, we're not winning the war, and it's going to get worse and worse because we're not taking back the control of our health, because the education is not being given to individuals of learning how to live healthy and how to eat healthy. And the one thing I want to look on this is towards inflammatory states, as towards what's in the body. Obesity, are the numbers stabilizing? No, we see that obesity numbers are getting higher and higher, and look as towards what it's doing to affect our children too. Now, one thing that when it comes to the lifestyle of how people are eating and living is as towards what we're feeding our children that could affect their cognition as towards what can affect their academics also. I did a paper on this back in the 90s, how proper nutrition contributes to cognitive development based on the book called The Bell Curve. And with what I did as towards with about 10 years ago with a group of college students by teaching them how to do proper meal planning, 4 out of 7 made Dean's List that semester. The great thing about that is they said that they were able to comprehend the information and they have better mental clarity. And if you look on there also as towards, like I mentioned earlier, cancer, and then there's also types as towards type 2 diabetes. And I've helped so many people to manage their type 2 diabetes to where they did not have to be on so much insulin, or they were taken off their insulin to what their doctor did for them, not self-medicating, but what their doctor did for them. And the one thing is insulin is not cheap. It is expensive. The other thing is also that we need to be aware of is some people may have this irritable bowel syndrome. Well, the thing is now they've taken that word irritable out of there and added the word inflammatory bowel. So think about that, or even for the person who may have Crohn's disease or colitis, inflammation of the bowels itself or so. So the thing is, take back the control by controlling what you're putting into your body to reduce the inflammation. Prime example, a lot of my clients who have a lot of joint discomfort, by working with them and educating them, teaching them how to change their lifestyle with the fork, they're telling me, my joints feel so much better. I don't have so much discomfort in my knees or my lower back, because we're controlling the inflammation by reducing that marker for it that gives them better range of motion or so. We can go to our next slide, please. And here's one response right here is towards a different type of inflammation as towards when it comes to people with lower back, or as towards Alzheimer's or mental fog. And then also as towards with the problems with their knees, and then also with their shoulders. So think about that as towards where you may have inflammation in your body. If you feel it in your knees, that may be corrected with the fork. You have inflammation in your shoulders, that may be corrected with the fork. If you have lower back issues, that may be corrected with the fork. Also as towards stretching too, but that's a topic for another day. We go to our last slide, please. Now here comes the bread and butter of all this. So if you look at this chart, what we're doing as a society, as Americans, and it's expanding throughout the world also, because I've been able to expand my services over to the United Kingdom. But look as towards where this chart is, number one. Number two is towards having your blood sugar stabilized throughout the whole day. When we go to consume whatever we're having for breakfast, it may be oatmeal or that bagel or donut, what we're doing is elevating our blood sugar, where you start to see number 3, and it gets to number 4. Then when you elevate that blood sugar to you're in the range of number 4, what happens is the brain recognizes this and sends signals to your thyroid that slows it down by 10-15%. Now, here's the best of two worlds. That puts your body in a fat storage mode. But here's the thing. There's a marker because of this increase in blood sugar that stimulates it. It's called C-reactive proteins. This C-reactive proteins is a marker that can lead to higher risk factors associated with cardiovascular disease, Alzheimer's, cancers, type 2 diabetes, because you're not in control of your blood sugar, which is causing this inflammation into your body. Now, the most important thing to remember about this marker is a hormone in the brain called leptin, and in the gut that it's not working correctly. To if you got cravings, guess what? Your leptin hormone is not working. Your body's in leptin resistance mode, which is fat storage, and you need to correct that to get your body into leptin sensitivity, fat burning mode. So when your body sees this, the elevation of your blood sugar, and it releases a hormone in your body, you know what it is? Insulin. So you can see us towards what happens from number 4 as you see where it goes down to bring down your blood sugar, and it goes to number 5. Well, when you get to the stage of number 5, what happens is your blood sugar levels are low and you're looking for that quick fix because you're starting to see those cravings because your blood sugar drops. You look for that piece of candy or that soda or even diet soda, which is worse yet, but that's a topic for another day. And then the thing is starting to stabilize that blood sugar. Most important thing is keep your blood sugar stabilized throughout the whole day. Avoid the peaks and valleys because this will help to reduce the inflammation response, plus also give you the opportunity to get your body healing. Medication does not heal your body. Food is the source that heals your body. Now, if you have any questions, hey, reach out to me. Connect with me on LinkedIn or so. Again, Butch Temnick, Mr. Wellness. This is your wellness tip of the day. Wellness Wednesday. Thank you. Have a good day. God bless.